what's this weekend? This weekend is Side Games Cup. Is it also Princess Connect Fest, or is that next weekend?
Next week.
Okay. So
Also, need to make sure you check your audio channels correct.
yeah, I'll check again over on the Discord side, just in case. Voice and video. Outputting to voice meter aux input. Which in OBS. Just talk again.
Talking. 1, 2, 3.
Try again.
Yeah. What's up?
Yep, there it is. It's on the right channel. Properties.
I have 2 number 9s and a number 9 large.
Sorry, sir. All we have is the garlic Bahamut with triple pork.
And sprouts. Don't forget the sprouts.
The sprouts are what gives it all of that volume. It's true. That we've lost a friend to that bowl of ramen before. Daryl was taken out for a day. He was like, I can eat this, and then just
No, he couldn't.
The rest, well, he could eat it, and then it got its revenge, and he just fell asleep for the rest of the day. He's like, there was a sniper somewhere. It got me.
Should have had an all sub. Play light. We have a lot of all subs.
There's so many all subs in Light now. You just get your pick.
One of them's free.
Indeed.
The other's Geisenberger.
Well, Kumbi has a all sub now, right?
Yeah, but she's not free.
Yeah. So there's 2 of them that, well, there's one that's free, one that's grindable, one that's a Divine General, one that's grand.
Can we buff the grand version? That's that character's been it has fallen off.
Well, they're going for the worst tank in Light first, which is Valtorta. And by first, I mean that's gonna be a while. We still haven't figured out when we're gonna get the next round of element reworks.
Yeah.
It's like we can guess that they'll redo the Light characters before Light Unite and Fight, and that's in April. So we got some time for the rest. We got nothing but time.
Look, I'm waiting for fire. I want that Frau change.
What happens if the only thing they change is that they are like skill 3 is skill 1 now and skill 1 is skill 3 now, and that's the only thing they change.
I think that's fine.
Yeah, I would be pretty happy with that, to be honest with you.
They really should really change her coming in from the back passive.
Which is the one that's her double
Which
cast?
turns into a real character.
Yeah.
Because her without that is a really sad time.
It really is.
Meanwhile, all these other characters can work fine at front.
Alright. Well, including the element's other, whatchamacallit, the element's other evoker. It's just like Hasalia, where Maria Teresa actually works perfectly fine in front, and you just build around her. Hasalia up front is like, why am I doing this?
I don't know why you're doing this. Why are you putting her in the back for your passive defense?
Alright. Pulling up. Alright, I'm closing basketball. Henry chided me for looking to the left too often when we were recording last week. It's like, there's a Warriors game on! I know. Alright, let's begin.
Yeah, let's do it.
I am not going to promise short episode, I'm just going to try and make it a short episode. Uh-oh. What happened? Oh, I don't have a GBF window open. One moment.
Nice. I know what that is.
You know what you're looking at right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Editor, edit this out.
No. Alright. So, Welcome to Granblue Radio. This is episode number 264. I'm Vibrating Sheep. I've done a lot of translating this week, and by a lot I mean actually it's a relatively mild amount of translating. This was a calm before the storm Koregra that we got.
I mean, we had to do the spreadsheet.
Yeah,
That
but
was
that's not really
interesting.
translating as much as it is just data entry. Thankfully, I have my
Man, I
notes.
don't do data entry.
Yeah, well. Alright, so we've got ourselves a new Koregra to go over, but we also have new characters. So I don't have Wilnas, and I can't show him to anybody, so you want to just talk about the other characters first?
Sure. Also, hi, I'm DJ. I didn't get introduced this time.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting to do these things, because I was just talking to you for 10 minutes before we started this.
Alright, anyways.
Okay, so do you want to start with the ramen man or the ramen lady?
So, anyway, we are, technically right on our last predictions, but we got both of them at the same time, actually.
Yeah, it's true.
And so, let's go with Lilele.
Alright, she's earlier in the character screen anyway. That helps. Alright, there she is. So, here's
One,
Lilele.
have you read her profile for this one?
The space-time idol one? Yes, I have read it.
Yes.
Where it's like they have acknowledged that she looked into another timeline to see idols.
Oh man, this is great. I love it.
All right, so Lilele, it's been a while since we checked in on her.
About like since like 2017.
They've changed how they design idols and music characters in general.
Let's get hype.
So, anyway, we're just going to circle everywhere on this character sheet that says hype, and then we're gonna go from there. How about that?
That's 4 check marks then.
Yep.
Of 6. No, 7.
So we're gonna start
No,
with
it's
her.
6.
We're gonna start with her passive. So every turn, she gets between 0 and 20 meter. Based on how much hype she has. So, and also if she has hype 4, then she casts her her heal every turn, which is also a clarity.
That's the important part because the heal is only like 1500.
Yeah.
But having that every turn though,
Mhm.
pretty nice.
So, here's the other things that so in order to generate her own hype, she has a 7-turn cooldown, 3-turn hype. And that is kind of it for her own hype generation.
Yeah, but you always have to remember, Granblue is a 4 character game.
It is. And so the thing is that, on her own, she's just never going to actually see the results of these things. And the characters that she requires to work with her are not free, so it is something that you have to assemble willingly. And so
Yeah, but at least they're also ticketable.
they are. So
They're easily ticketable.
So she gives the entire team hype and meter based on how much hype she has.
Yeah, if she has no hype, then everyone gets 10 meter. If she has 4 hype, everyone gets 30 meter.
Mm-hmm. And then she also has a 7-turn cooldown on Dispel Cancel, and also a shield that gets better based on her hype.
Starts at 1,000, goes up to 5,000 with hype.
Mm-hmm.
5,000 is a pretty nice number, by the way.
5,000 is pretty nice. And then she's got a 20% win cut on her CA. Does that last more than 1 turn? Let's see.
Lasts 2 turns after CA.
That's not awful. Especially since, once she's got the entire hype engine going, then she's giving herself 20 extra meter every turn. So, that's something. And then Charm. Charm is one of those things where when it works, it's great, but if you just never rely on it working, you just...
But it's local, so you don't have
just
to care about anyone else.
Yeah, you just assume that it's just not going to work, and then, it's a pleasant surprise when it does. And so the last thing is there is a hype passive on her where she goes up to, 12% passive CA damage cap up on 4 hype. And then how much is the...
7% per hype, up to 28% for damage up on CA.
That's
Which
kind of...
remember, hype itself is a damage up.
It is also double damage, yeah, once you're at hype 4. So, on her own, it's kind of meh because a lot of this just doesn't work. However, she's not going to be on her own. Also, I am very amused by her weapon.
Sparkle Beat Volume 29.
Sparkle Beat Volume 29. Anyway, so you have to combine her. Well, I mean, you can combine her with level 30 Rising Force, I guess, but even then, you don't really get that much extra uptime on hype.
You need either and or both Antheria or Alidos.
Yeah. And so I'm just gonna go to the level. Well, actually, no. The Antheria you can use at level 80 because she doesn't have a level 100. Alidos.
Correct.
Alidos needs to have a level 100. So
I mean, his level 100 uncap is free.
So, the most important thing is Antheria's quick step, which is extend everyone's hype by a turn. And then once everybody's hype is extended, and you just keep adding up to hype, you will inevitably get to hype 4.
Yeah. Meanwhile, with Alidos, he extends the hype by CAing. He's able to give hype on skill 3, give himself back on skill 1, and he also increases your defense when you have hype.
And he gives you Dispel Cancel, which unfortunately...
That one, they both go away at the same time.
They both go away at the same time. So her Lilele's Dispel Cancel, in the specific context of this team, which is pretty much the only time that you're going to use her, that skill doesn't really do anything. The shield's nice, especially since you have a bunch of extra defense from having Absolute Wall on. But I mean, I currently use UL in that extra harp spot in this hype team because she just gives everybody else chaser. I mean, I guess you could switch her out for like Lilele.
I would do that in a heartbeat, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair.
This will last me a lot longer.
Speaking of which, I've forgotten to. Oops. There we go. I've been using her this entire time without awakening her. Oops. Oh well.
Good job.
But yeah, I mean,
multi-attack.
But I mean, that's pretty much the only context in which you'll use this Lilele. She's fine, but she's not going to be something that you actively seek out. Like if she kind of falls into your lap, you're like, okay, I know where to put this. Basically.
I mean, building teams around certain characters is not like bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Since a lot of times in this game, you build around your top characters instead. So this is just not any different. This is just sort of something fun.
Yeah, it's just it's an engine. It's, you know, not going to break the game or anything like that, but it's an engine that's already proven to work, and now you can easily slot her in with the other two who actually make the engine work. But
yeah, so at least Fire has a hype engine that works.
What are you envious of? Like, is the Earth hype engine not as not?
Oh no, that one works too. I'm just talking about how Wind doesn't have one that exists.
Oh, okay. All those harp characters.
Because they literally made a character that has hype, and you don't use it for hype at all.
Which one is that? Remind me.
LER.
Right. Well, LER doesn't sing. LER is a cat. What you're expecting too many things out of cat.
Yeah, but he also gives hype, so.
Yeah. So, on to the next thing.
Ramen Man.
The Ramen Man. From the Ramen Lady to the Ramen Man. I'm so glad that all of this is voiced. We've been waiting for this for so long. The full power of Wakamoto Norio from ramen hobo to ramen like refined ramen connoisseur right here. It's like he owns one suit and this is it.
I mean, getting Morohoshi Sumire is easy because the fact that she's in Princess Connect and some other stuff. Getting Wakamoto though.
So anyway, we got this. Remember our line about any given dark character?
Yeah, I told you this like 3 days ago. Where it's like Man, you know the thing that Dark has a hard time and why we need a billion Trium? Multi-attacking.
Hey,
So
hey,
here's a character that triple attacks.
he doesn't have Chaser though. He is behind the the rest of the Dark Gate team, but
Oh
in
man,
exchange he has a bunch of other things. So
he's behind the monsters.
he is merely really strong.
At least he has a delay.
All
A
right,
really short cooldown.
yeah. So here's the thing. Everything starts with Robin Lover because it's kind of a variant on the old like Eustace designs where he would build up charge, and if unless you released that charge, he would stun himself.
Well, it's
Like that was Halloween
also his
Eustace.
SR version too.
Hmm.
Like the old version of
The
the SR
old version
version.
of the SR version, yeah. So he always triple attacks now in this form, and every time he attacks or uses a skill, and this matters because his skills are effectively on like a 3-turn cooldown.
No,
It's
they're
like
even
2-turn.
lower.
It's a 2-turn
They
cooldown basically.
because of 55-75, the first two skills go to 3 turns.
Yeah. All right. So it's a 3-turn, a 3-turn, and a 4-turn, and that's a fake cooldown. We'll get back to that later. So he needs to CA a lot because if he gets to 7 cravings, then he stops being a character. He is stunned. He cannot get out of this stun state except by dying, and he gains hostility, and he
I don't see
loses
the hostility
defense.
part.
Oh, he doesn't have hostility up. Never mind.
No, but he also loses 70% defense.
Sorry, my bad on that one. I was thinking
Can't
of
attack,
other ones.
can't cast skills, and
Can't-
70% hit the defense.
Yeah.
So he will effectively get triple strikes.
The problem is, of course, that sometimes you want him to actually have hostility up when he's in that state, and you're just like, why won't you die? Just get out of the way. On the plus side, you're playing Dark. So if there's an inconvenient character that you don't want there anymore, there's an extremely easy to
It's gonna
find.
death.
Yeah, there's an extremely easy to find way to just get him out of there.
Here's the thing: I have no idea how you're actually gonna hit that, really, unless. Yeah, I really don't know how you're gonna hit that unless you're just like asleep at the wheel.
Or you get CA locked or something like that. He's also not there to. He works spectacularly badly with Keelan for once. So deal triple attacks, right? He's got 37 meter a turn, and he's got another 5%, so he's getting 42 meter a turn because he doesn't have a meter penalty. So, if you say put him behind, if you give him say the Vikala buff, he's actually just at 100 every third turn. This matters.
Also,
Go ahead.
Skill 1 also gives meter.
Yeah. So every third turn, unless you, even with like things like whatchamacallit, skill lock, skill seal, then yeah. So
If you're skill sealed, that's amazing. You can't hit those buttons.
yeah. But you're definitely playing with fire a little bit, a little bit. The way it's designed is that you're, unless something spectacular happens, you're not gonna hit these things. But you know, you want to CA as often as possible because
It lowers it by 5.
it lowers it by 5. It's very important. If
So
you
remember
don't,
how he gets like 42 meter turn?
mm-hmm.
Well, if you count everything together, by turn 2, he will have, even if you have like no crew buffs starting, right?
Mm-hmm.
He would have, if you hit all the buttons, you would have had 5 and 100 meter. And then you remove 5
Yes.
from CAing.
Right.
So
And so the way that he's designed, he just keeps going. So every like third turn, basically, he will cast Chashu Extra Onions. So everybody gets 30 meter. Then they get the boost to charge attack from him as well. He gets to dispel every third turn, basically, with this supple fish cake.
you're missing the numbers because his CA will lower the cooldowns by 1.
Yeah,
So
but
it's every 2 turns.
it's not actually every 2 turns though, unless you fill up your meter on those second.
Oh yeah,
turns.
you're right. On the 3rd turn, okay.
Like there will be turns where he reduces the cooldown from 1 to 0, and then a turn passes, so it'll go from 0 to 0. And
All right,
then
yeah, you got the math right.
yeah, and then there's Chashu Soft-Boiled Egg, where he gets a delay on a short cooldown.
That's wild. That's the wild part of
There is a
everything right there.
lot of stuff going on here. So as long as he actually gets to CA, then this character is just a an engine of destruction. Like he's not going to dispel as often as say Cassius, as often as Vikala, as often as freaking Zahek. Those three are engines designed to do nothing but dispel, basically. He's not going to delay as often as someone like Tanya or Lich or something like that, but he does both of them at the same time, so you know, you're gonna get a lot of use out of this character if you actually do have him and use him. There's a
And
lot going on here. I'm
you
proud
also
of
don't
this
have to
guy.
worry about paralyze because he just stops attacking. He
Yep.
won't gain any. He won't gain any cravings because he doesn't attack.
It's
If he
specific.
gets shadowed, he also doesn't the same thing.
Yeah, it's specifically CA lock that kills this character. And yeah, there's a lot going on here. And let's see, put him in Kengo and he does work. Well, I mean, when you're talking about Dark Kengo, there's so many characters that do so much work. Like,
Yeah. Also, we have to make sure we're not in a vacuum. He can get meter from everybody else seeing
yeah, that's what I
when
said
he's
about
off sync.
yeah.
So
That's also like the way I mentioned Vikala because Vikala is one of those characters where it's like, oh, 50% meter gain until I get hit a bunch of times. Okay. And so, you know, instead of it under those circumstances, let's see, 37 plus 50%, rounded up in your favor. 37 plus 19, it's 56, and then 8. So he's gaining 64 meter return, which honestly isn't that different from gaining 50 meter return. So, you know, it and it ends up with, let's see, it does matter when he hits Chashu Extra Onions. So on a triple attack, after one triple attack and one Chashu Extra Onions, then it's every other turn. I actually should check on a video with him and Vikala to see if he actually, just how crazy he goes with like the Vikala buff on him and a third character in there that keeps him from getting hit. Because he has, unlike all of the other dark monsters, he has no way of dodging himself. He doesn't defend himself in any way, shape, or form. All he does is he punches and he casts the skills.
I mean, there's a lot of characters that you do for hostility stuff.
Yeah.
And there's also a lot of characters who could, just give you defense.
It's true. Yeah, we'll see. I'm curious about that one, but I'm a fan of this design.
I'm just glad it's not on unlimited.
Also true. Freaking chopsticks.
Yeah, look, chopsticks are great. It has Solaire on it.
All right. So, the last one that we need to talk about. I forgot to actually record the URL of Wilnas. But anyway, so we're just going to talk about Wilnas, and I'm going to compare him to characters in the Grand series. So, we'll just do that. Not just specifically staff ones. Alright, so Wilnas came out. And you're going to have to imagine this. But Wilnas's skills and things like that, people looked at Wilnas and went, and the numbers in a vacuum are good, and we also need to we do have to compare him to other characters in the same series. We do that all the time. Hell, we compare people to Grands and when they're not Grand. But anyway,
I tried to avoid that.
Yeah. I usually only bring it up when it's in their favor, where it's like we are favorably comparing this character to a Grand. That's good. We're favorably comparing this character to a summer character. That's really good. All right, so we have, where did Wilnas go? Where did I put those? That's the summon. All right. Well, anyway, so break down what Wilnas does as I just bring up the pictures of his abilities and put them in here.
All right. So the main thing about Wilnas is that with his passive, he cannot multi-attack at all, and there's one exception.
Mm-hmm.
But unlike Isaac, you can't just pump it up with like triple attack or something.
Mm-hmm.
He also gets no charge bar upon attacking normally or countering. That's always a key part because he does counter upon taking damage every turn.
Mm-hmm.
But he gets to amplify his normal attack by 50%.
Right.
And when he normal attacks, Flame Claw activates. That's an important thing to do because Flame Claw gives you 20 meter and Blistering Flames, which is an assassin modifier.
That lasts 2 turns.
2 turns,
Yes.
and you're pretty much doing it every turn until he can CA.
One moment while I find my OBS window.
So other things to note is that that's his only way to generate meter by himself.
Mm-hmm.
We are not in a vacuum, so other characters can help him get meter. That's important.
Right. Okay. So I've been failing at just dragging pictures into here. All right. So anyway, yeah, the 2 turns of assassin, that is a first, and like we've been using tag team this entire time to abuse even single turn assassins. They seem to have designed this in such a way where they don't want him to be as broken with tag team, except that he's still pretty broken with tag team.
I mean, he'll get 40 meter from that alone.
So
also with double strike, he can still utilize that to get more meter. He does He actually does a lot of damage.
He does a ton of just damage
on per turn basis.
And like what he doesn't do is a lot of hits, and he doesn't have much in the way of like ways to get you through harder bosses. But that's not necessarily his job. Let's compare.
He can help you with getting the damage thresholds though.
Damage thresholds. Yep.
Hit thresholds are a different story.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Hadron Smash has a super long cooldown. It's what, 12 turns? His skill
12
1?
turns at level 55.
It's 12 turns, and it says Dispel. How does he cheat it? It's if
by CAing.
He CAs and it casts it?
Yeah, he CAs with Vermilion's Glare up.
Oh, okay. So Vermilion's Glare says Hadron Smash does that. Oh, and what's the uptime on Vermilion's Glare?
Forever.
Okay. Got it. Is it a can't be recast?
Correct.
Okay.
So if he dies, that's not coming back.
Mm-hmm. And so the thing about him is that like he does single big hits, and then after he CAs and he since he has that triple attack, then that triple attack turn, he's amazing for that triple attack turn specifically.
So yeah, he can. We missed that part where he can only triple attack if he CAs.
Mm-hmm. That is the way to get him to CA. And so yeah, on his CA turn, he does unworldly fire damage, so his cap is higher than normal. Then
I've seen that hit like 6 million without a key for that.
Mm-hmm. And then because he has Vermilion's Glare on, he casts Hadron Smash. And how big is Hadron Smash?
1.3 without any modifiers.
Yeah, so it's twice as good as most nukes in the game. Most, not all. It will also dispel.
You're not gonna rely on that.
You're not. And then if you hit Flame Claw, then he will also have the assassin on that turn. And it's a long cooldown on Flame Claw, and I don't think that one you get to cheat on, can you?
You cheat it by just attacking.
Yeah.
He gets it every time he normal attacks.
Activate Flame Claw after normal attacks. Okay, so that's... Never mind. That's right. That's the Fedial design there. So he just keeps getting Blistering Flames.
Yep. Until he CAs. The CA term is like the turn after, technically.
Okay, okay.
You don't
there we
get
go.
Blistering Flames.
That's where I was missing it. So, I mean, he does a lot of damage. Like, a lot of damage. Does Fire need a lot of damage? And then
in hard content, yes. We are striking for pennies half the time.
Well, it depends on which meta you're going for, right? Like with specifically the tempering skill from Summer Kumbira. This is a very specific thing, but it is something that Fire players flocked to because
in hard content, a lot of what your damage comes from is skill hits, like things that'll do, between like 6 and 12 hits of skill damage, so you're using like a tempering weapon. So this is going the opposite direction from that. It's going much more in the CA damage and single big skill hit damage direction, which isn't as well supported in Fire as of right now. Like, when you think of just really big CAs, it's usually like Fire Siegfried has a nuke after his, Lancelot and Vayne have a nuke after theirs, Izmir does a ton of CA damage, actually. But, it's not part of the accepted direction, and that's fine. I like that. Like, it would be really uninteresting if all he did was an exact Fire copy of Fediel. I don't want that. However, the thing he does get from Fediel is that we didn't even mention this. In V2, and specifically V2, then when you Fated Chain, he gains full meter and gets a boost to his CA specs every time that you Fated Chain.
150 CA damage up, 90% CA damage cap.
I don't
on a Fated Chain turn.
Yeah. I don't necessarily see him using the cap up very well because his cap is already disgustingly high. Or sorry, I meant the damage up, but the cap up definitely is welcome. Sorry, I got them swapped in my head.
I'm about to say.
Although against mega high defense things, then both of them are welcome. When you're up against a super ultimate Bahamut that has a bunch of tenets from Earth still on it, and you're taking your early turns, then having a character who can actually help you toward your 20 million damage?
It's really high. Yeah,
it's a really high number. Then that's good.
Things that we also forgot. We should actually still talk about Vermilion Glare because it had more than just reactivate.
Not reactivate. Hadron Smash.
Skill one.
Yeah, the skill smash.
It also gives 300% defense to himself, debuff immunity, and 20%, not 20%, plus 20 to his hostility. So he will be targeted, and he is buff.
And so
you want him to target because his counterattack damage is actually kind of high.
Yeah, he gets one counter a turn.
With a graph key, I've seen it go to 3 million on a counter hit.
Unfortunately, but this is part of the design, he doesn't gain meter from countering.
I already said that part.
Yeah, that's right. But still, it's still very good. None of these things are instantly going, oh, this is broken. But you know what? Not everything has to be broken. I don't want everything to be broken. You can't have it both ways. You can't complain about power creep and complain that your character that came out isn't power creep. Pick one. Anyway, yeah, so he's not Fediel. I'm okay with him not being Fediel because I actually welcome the puzzle that's coming up. We're going to be talking about this with the Koregra coverage, but I welcome the puzzle of going through my teams in each element and going, I have to beat Beelzebub with this team now. I wonder how I'm going to do it. And I welcome that challenge. That's going to be really interesting to me. But yeah, like, Wilnas is going to do tons of damage. We should probably talk about his weapon also, because at a 4-star, that thing also does a ton of work.
So on 4-star, it gets a delay and a dispel,
right? And it is an axe, as I recall.
Correct. It also does unworldly damage, and its downside is you burn for 1,000 for 2 turns after CAing, which is not a downside if you have Alanon in the back.
And it's also not a downside if you're doing like any of the things in Fire that ask you to take damage. So, for example, not just Alanon, but having a Bloodshed and Wilnas Finger grid, right? Like, Wilnas Finger is a weapon that was actually getting more traction because of Unite and Fight, because once you're actually taking a bunch of damage and you can stay stable at a lower amount of health, then that weapon does a ton of work. Like, you start getting supplemental based on how low you are. That's really good once you can guarantee getting to a certain low health. And, you know, that burned is a very stable amount. It's not going to, like, kill you, but it's going to slightly improve the weapons that you're packing. So Crux is big supplemental boost to fire allies damage, CA damage also. And so Crux is he? Let's see. I think I can find him in the Sierra ticket thing, or maybe I can't. But anyway, so yeah, I don't think I can find him in here. He's not available right now. But you know, Crux is something that we've started appreciating more and more as we get higher and higher difficulty content, because we're not capping on CAs anymore. So, you know, once you're at a certain point in like Beelzebub and Belial, you're like, I want this ability to just get extra damage on my CAs because I need that. Like, I need it real bad.
Also, the reminder that because so this is more like Orbo's Prime than it is to Columba, because this one is actually affected by your summon.
Mm-hmm.
So at skill level 15, it's 105,000 supplemental damage to your CAs, and that's boosted. It goes up to 1 million at max.
So, assuming, say, double Agni, you quadruple the effect of the skill effectively. So, 105k becomes 420k.
Mm-hmm.
You have two of these, that's 840k added on, and then you add in like the actual Wilnas sub-summon, and you get pretty close to that 1 million. It's a very significant amount of damage to add to a CA. Hold on, am I remembering this wrong? Is it only Waterstorm who has CA reactivate? Does Firestorm have that anymore? Did she never have it?
I don't remember.
She double casts Blitzkrieg. She does not get CA reactivated. It is Waterstorm who gets that. Okay. Are there any fire CA reactivators in order to actually do this? Because one of the things that makes Water Crux so good is that you have a bunch of characters who can CA twice, like, with ease. With Light Crux, you have Noah, who can just turn anyone into a CA reactivator. And so
I don't see anyone.
Yeah, I don't see anybody off the top of my head either. So the Crux skill is going to sit there until someone can find a really good way to apply it, in order to just make it even better than it already is.
Apparently, it's Elmont.
Elmont reactivates? Let's take a look.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, there
Glowing
it is.
Flame.
There it is. Elmont's a pretty good character. He can use the
Yeah.
Crux really well. So anyway,
He also has pretty nice abilities too.
yeah, good
Like
character.
removing buffs from the enemy.
Very good character. So anyway, yeah, I think Wilnas has promise. I think that people who were just shouting at him not being good enough are just not looking at things in a healthy way.
I literally just turn off comments.
I can't. I'm not allowed to. I do sometimes. But anyway.
The nice thing also about his weapon is that it has medium majesty, which is not a bad skill because we need more HP. That also has attack.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like it's just if you don't see it, it's not that great.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, yeah, let's see. I've heard he's good for Super Ultimate Bot. We were kind of talking about that. Like he's there to be a different way of getting to the same goal, instead of just relying on the same skill nukers who just are praying to get enough hits, essentially. So yeah, all right. Are we ready to move on?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so we got Koregra this month. Let's go ahead and bring that up on the Grand Cipher. unless Henry forgot to put the Koregra. Oh, good, he has the Koregra roundup there. We're switching scenes to my desktop. All right. He forgot to change the word January to February. But anyway, so next week is Uma Musume. We'll be talking about that once it actually hits. Here's the thing that starts with Uma Musume though. So we just got off of we're 3 weeks removed from a solid full month of Half Off Fest. And we're hitting it again. We're starting on February 8th. We're getting the 31 million player celebration. Then, when that ends on February 22nd, we get the Countdown Special Campaign. And then when that ends, this is not officially announced, but it's going to be the the 8th anniversary in the third month of the year. 8th anniversary in the third month of the year. Sorry. And so we're going to be having a full month and a half of just campaign stuff. It's happening again.
Level up again.
Yeah, I have another Transcendence to feed, so I'm gonna just be leveling my little priest.
You know what I'm happy for, Dom?
What's that?
That we'll finally get a second Earth SSR from a tie-in.
It's been so long.
We only had Love Lives.
We've only had Love Lives. You're right, and so we're going
to Aqua.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll be talking about Uma Musume once it hits. I'm not necessarily excited. I know people who are excited for it, and I'm happy for them. I'm looking forward to whatever Gold Ship does. I'm expecting horrible things from Gold Ship because she is Gold Ship.
Well, she's the greatest.
All right. We're not gonna really talk about the Valentine's campaign. We'll talk about Horus when she comes out. Proving Grounds is just Proving Grounds. So we'll also talk about Arcarum when it comes out, because I don't want to talk about Arcarum until I've actually played it a bit. That's happening this month. The big thing that's coming this month for people like you and me, DJ, is the new trophies for soloing Beelzebub and Belial. One of the reasons that we just don't bother to solo Beelzebub is because there's no reward for it in particular, so we just, get it to a certain point, we just invite people in to just poke them once and then get their swords.
Look, I've learned that I should just solo it and do it that way. Otherwise, people grief me.
Yeah. Belial's different from that for that one. Because soloing Belial is so hard once you're below 25%. Holy crap.
Yeah, he kind of ramps up super fast.
It's so hard.
Get it done. Just get it done.
How? I don't have any meter. How do I get it done?
Oh, that's too bad, huh? Can't summon, can you?
Well, I can summon. That's the only thing I can do. But yeah, this is actually pretty exciting for me because, like I said, I've been soloing Beelzebub. I've done it in 3 elements now, and it's just there was no particular reward for doing it. So I'm just it was just I picked whatever was easiest, and so I've settled on water for my personal clear. You settled, I think, on dark, right?
I've also done light and earth.
Right, but when you're just doing it to do it and get swords, do you keep going back to dark, or is
Dark's
there
the fastest?
Earth's the fastest?
Dark's the fastest.
Oh, dark's the fastest, yeah. That's water for me, so, But now I have 5 more puzzles to solve because it's requiring everyone to be the same element, so I can't use Mugen in my Earth Clear anymore. It's this is something I actually need to solve for now.
Man, it's great being a person who doesn't use Mugen for that. Let's go.
Well, I mean, before I owned Mugen, I used Shalem for that, and so it's this leads to the same problem. So when I tweeted this out, there was a reply that's who's the best Earth sacrifice that isn't Leona? Because I don't own Leona, and I'm asking for a friend. And so, people are just trying to solve for this again, and that's gonna keep me engaged for a little bit, because Beelzebub is a fun raid to play alone. It is much less fun to play in a group of like 3 or 4 people. Belial is going to be really interesting for some people, because Belial is currently the hardest raid to solo that has been soloed. Super Baja has not been soloed yet, as far as I can tell, because that's not happening.
Also, for Earth, I would just, because you have 180 turns, I would just not do the sack strats, and just put them up front.
Just put Lobelia up front, yeah.
Yeah, the only difference is it changes 10 turns.
Well, it's not 10 because every 3rd turn he gets a free one, but so it's like 7 turns instead, or 8 turns. But still, the point is,
You have 180 turns, you can do with it.
yeah, you might just do that. You just have a character who doesn't do anything for 8 turns in order to become like everything.
You know, Sator's a pretty good character.
Yeah, maybe you just do the Satyr version, like the
Sator is great.
Satyr 8 and who was the 3rd one in that one? Satyr 8, Monica. That's right, lovely Monica. Yeah, there's a lot of just fun things that I'll be doing. I'll be looking at characters in a different way this time. I'm actually still trying to figure out how I will do the fire clear. I think it's going to be like I don't think it'll be Nemone. I think it'll be like Athena and I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'm looking forward to this one though.
There's no way you don't use Athena in that fight.
Yeah.
She covers your butt in like so many different ways if you don't have the damage thresholds.
Mhm. And then the rest of February is basically just waiting for March to start because we've got the anniversary live stream coming. And that is where they pack everything into. That's where we're going to be getting all of our announcements, basically for everything that leads up to summer. So we'll be doing that one as we always do. But yeah, like February is a good time to take a little bit of a break. Because
Are you sure?
For me, I'm taking a break until February 8th when the campaigns start.
February 8th is like on 5 days.
That counts as a break. And also, I'm not actually going to go in that hard on the first parts of the various campaigns. Let's see here. Which one has which? It's double Arca passports for the first part, and then the second part.
Attendance of half off.
Yeah, the second part has the double defender gauge, which means that this anniversary one will most likely be the one with double Saphira gauge. I think where I am at in this game, I will spend much more time in Sandbox in the second part. So this first part, I will play, but I will not be like going in very hard on grinding because you gotta pace yourself. We've got a freaking month and a half of this coming. You can't go all the way without just burning out. And don't burn out. Just don't do it. Don't do it, folks. So yeah, that's what we've got coming.
Fun times. We're back to our campaigns.
What happens when Unite and Fight ends? A blissful break. What happens when Magnafest ends? You get another one.
Yeah, that one's always been there, though.
Yeah.
That has always been the joke.
Yeah. But thankfully, this month they've learned that they don't want to put a January Unite and Fight and then 3 weeks later a February Unite and Fight. So they're giving us a nice little break, and then most likely when all of the campaigns are done, then in March we get Dread Barrage after that, and it's like, pace yourself. Please pace yourself. Dread Barrage is also
since Dread Barrage.
Yeah, what was that?
It's been a while since last Dread Barrage.
It has. Yeah, and then first clearing the new sandbox stuff will be kind of interesting. We'll figure it out once we get there.
Maybe we'll fight the world for once.
It's been a while.
Like 2015?
2015 Tokyo Game Show.
I remember when I started this game and like random people had the world summon in Alcus, then I'm like, what?
It changed based on what day it was. That was the most... I hated that. I hated it so much.
Early Granblue summons sucked.
Well, it's not just that, but
our best summon was a knot.
Um, the big thing about the World Summon was that you wanted to borrow it on Saturday because on Saturday it gave XP up, and you're like, what?
And that was before we had Big Slime.
All right. Anyway, so we'll be seeing you guys next week. We'll be talking about Team Spica. We'll be talking about Goldship and Major McQueen. We'll be talking about how, yeah, we've got like 6.5 weeks or 7 weeks or something like that of half off fest, and this is what we're doing, blah blah blah. But you know, we're wow, Bahamut Unchained. I forgot about this. This is a Defend Order thing. I never got this one. I wonder how they'll ever give this one back. Sorry, I just wallowing back in the old days of GBF for a second there.
Defend Order sucked. It has a great song though.
It had such a good song. So, anyway, take a break, everybody. Come back for Uma Musume. DJ, you've been playing a lot of Master Duel lately.
Yep.
I might take this weekend and play Bloodborne. I keep saying that I'll do that, but this might be the weekend. This is gonna be the weekend.
You do that, I'm gonna play Automaster. I still didn't finish that game.
Right?
I'm on 1-3.
Out of
9 or so.
good luck.
There's also DLC stories that I actually have downloaded but I can't do yet.
Good luck. All right. Anyway, so take care of yourselves, guys. We'll be back next week. And hopefully you guys have had a good time and beaten up enough garlic Bahamuts with extra sauce, triple the pork, and sprouts to the sky.
I love how it plays the song. I just love how it plays the song when you're in that fight.
We're going back to Happy Vicky, everybody.
That fight just lasts like a couple seconds, but I'm just glad that it puts it there.
The memes are pretty good in this event, especially round Cassius or wide Cassius or everything that you want to call him. Did you see the Granblues with Tico in it? By the way, the most
I did
recent
not
one?
yet.
It's about round Cassius, where they just look at round Cassius like, all right, it's the part of the event where it's like, okay, for your health, we've got to put you on a diet, we've got to get you some exercise. And then, you know, because it's Cassius and his body is modified, within days, within days he's back to Slim Cassius. And
I see Tico bleeding from the mouth, and Lilele just dumbfounded.
Yeah. It's like, it's that easy. I hate you.
Look, just be an alien.
Just be an alien cyborg. How easy is that? I also do enjoy the fact that Cassius in the event essentially said the words, "You may not like it, but this is what peak performance looks like."
Yeah, that was the part that cracked me up when I saw that.
Because he's right. Because the peak performance that he's going for is digesting food. It is the peak performance for specifically digesting food. And then when he needs to be a dancer, he's like, okay, my body can morph itself back to being a dancer's body. It's fine.
Yeah, and then he does the superstar pose. And then he actually danced in the event.
He did. He was a backup dancer. He did his own makeup even. All right. Anyway, good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
This event was great. Go read the event if you haven't yet.
Go listen to the event. It's got Wakamoto in it. Just do it.